guys, how's it going? Thanks so much for joining me here today. I am so stoked to share with you Ham Hill Country Park. This is one of my local country parks. I come here multiple times a week. I'm all about encouraging people to get outside and explore their local wild areas, and for me this is one of my most treasured spaces, and I'm so stoked to show it to you. Not only though is it a country park, but it's also a triple SI, so a site of special scientific interest. It's an Iron Age hill fort, it's a Roman site, and it's an LNR, a local nature reserve. Does it get much better than that? Not really. I love this place. As I say, I come here multiple times a week. If not on my own, then with the dogs, with my family, with friends. There's different activities going on organised by the rangers. It is a truly amazing space. You've got incredible archaeological and historical backgrounds of the area. And it's also just incredible how it's used today. We've got active quarries. It's a wonderful place for recreational activities, not only walking, but climbing, bouldering, not mountaineering, no mountains here. What else? Mountain biking, that's where I was going with that. All sorts, you can't go wrong. So you can tell I'm pretty excited. We're just gonna have a wander today, look at some of the sites, just take our time and enjoy this beautiful autumnal day. There's a nice golden light coming down, really fresh, just over 4 degrees. I'm happy about that. I love this weather. So let's get my boots on and then we'll hit the trail. 3, 2, 1. What am I doing? I don't know. Let's go. Woo! You know it's a good weather day when you get to wear gloves. So it is just over 4 degrees, which is beautiful. And I've left the car behind, so I'm parked at the Lime Kiln car park if you're thinking about heading here and giving this walk a go for yourself. And what we're doing is we just walked away from the car park and we're gonna first of all head down the ramparts, just follow a little road and just do a little loop and come up through an area called the Quarrying, which is a little valley which is home to a DMV, so a deserted medieval village. Have a chat about that as we go, and then we'll climb up to St Michael's Hill, which is an old Motte and Bailey castle used and built by the Normans. There's now a tower on top of there. And then we'll head up onto Ham Hill itself, the actual Iron Age hill fort area, which was around 210 acres in size when it was used. Now the country park itself is 390 acres. So we'll have a look at the war memorial, we'll just explore some of the quarries there, and then we'll head back to the car. Let's see how much we can jam into this walk. Haven't got a rucksack, so I'm feeling light and free. We've got leaves on the floor. Woo! Life doesn't get much better than this. It's kind of interesting actually. It's mid-November now, and I was just stopped and looked at the trees and realized most of the leaves are off the trees now, and it's feeling a little bit wintry. Autumn just seems like such a brief season. It literally lasts a couple of weeks and then it's like boom, winter's here. But thankfully this time of year we get this glorious light which just fills my soul with so much joy. I always feel so revived and refreshed by the golden color that just paints the landscape. And what you might be able to hear in the background here, alongside my poetic speech, is we have reached a little road. So, if you go up that way, that takes you back up to Ham Hill. We're going to go along here in a minute, but I just want to show you this wonderful sign here. So we've got a path down there, and this sign says Norton sub Hamden. So Norton sub Hamden is one of the little villages underneath Ham Hill. There's also Stoke sub Hamden. Now they're derived from the Old English word meaning small settlement under the hill, believe it or not, this hill. So we could walk down there. Sometimes that is a walk we do, is walk down into Norton and then follow the road, but it's a bit too much road walking for me today. I kind of just want to hit the woods in fields. Some helicopter somewhere doing its thing. So we're following this road now. Let's see where it takes us. Just up ahead there, then we got quite a sharp corner in the road. So there's this real neat stretch through the woods, passing the blind bend. So we'll just head down through here, duck under the canopy. Oh, so beautiful. And just in time as a car goes past. What we're doing now then is we're just heading down towards the edges of Norton Southampton, and then we're going to turn left past a sustainable woodland community that was established in 1994 called Tinker's Bubble. So they work on about 40 acres of land. They use completely environmentally sound methods in order to survive, and they sell their produce at local markets and up here actually on Ham Hill at different events organised by the rangers. They're a pretty cool bunch, and we'll be able to see the sign to the entrance of their woodland space in a minute. I can just see as well this tree. I was walking here the other day just after some work meetings I had, and this road was shut, so I had to walk a different way. But this is the remains of the poor tree that's been felled. But actually, gosh, look at that. You can see how it's completely rotted on the inside, so it's going to come down at some point. Blimey, look at that. Wow. Here's the edges of Norton then, and just here, this is an old mill that's now sort of a hotel sort of place. And if we come over here, you can just see the waterfall there, falling down through. Love it.
Little Norton Mill is a small country water mill built of local limestone. It's a Grade 2 listed building with working machinery still intact that would have been used in the late 18th century. Nowadays, the mill is a set of self-catering holiday cottages and apartments, and makes a lovely place to stay if you're visiting the area.
This fence here marks the boundary to the entrance of some of Tinker's Bubble. So you can see their orchards there, obviously strips of apples now. The beautiful Shire horse that they use to do a lot of their farm work, just standing proudly at the back. Hey mate, all right? And then we've got this field that they often have cows or sheep in. There's a few more apple trees over there, and you can just see one of the huts in the back there, but there's furthermore up in the woods. And it's really nice actually, this stretch of woodland. It's not all native, but you can see the native trees there are all kind of golden and brown, and then over here we've got the coniferous sort of plantation areas, the pines standing tall, evergreen, right throughout the winter season as well. This is the last stretch of road for a while, and what we've got here is the entrance to Tinker's Bubble. So there's a few buildings up here. They've got like a steam engine that they use for mechanical work, to chop wood and that sort of stuff. Just park a few cars up there. They all share cars, obviously. I just think it's really awesome, and you know, as someone who tries to be as mindful as I can every single day about my impact on the environment, knowing that I'm part of the bigger picture, it's just incredible to know that there's these people here who've just taken it that step further, and I really admire what they do and what they stand for. Whew, the wind's picking up, it's pretty icy. Blackbird's not happy about it. So this is the end here of Tinker's Bubble, the edge of their boundary, so they just carry on up. There's a footpath through the woods. I normally take that, but what I want to show you actually is this field here. Oh, I can't feel my face. So on Ham Hill then, there's evidence of occupation from the Mesolithic, the Neolithic, the Bronze Age and Iron Age periods of time. Obviously this is an Iron Age hill fort as well. You'll be able to see the ramparts quite distinctively in a minute. And this area here, which we're just about to walk through, is called the Warren, and it's a location of a DMV, so a deserted medieval village that was abandoned in the 17th century. And we've got these willows here that mark the edge of the settlement. They've also resurfaced the river that would have run down through the valley with some kind of weird river raising technique, which you'll see in a minute. But it's just incredible to know that I'm walking through an area where there's so much history, such a wealth of archaeology. You know, they've got bronze work finds, they've found cremations and burials, particularly up on the top, remains of chariots, remains of Roman villas, and it just blows my mind, like, if you just delve beneath the surface of the earth, what lies there hidden from our sight. This is pretty neat. They've put this in the last couple of days actually. They've had the frame here for a while, but they've not put in the actual information. But it just says about the making of the Whitcomb Valley stream, which you can see up ahead here. During 2016 and 17, a series of ponds were created and a medieval stream was restored at Ham Hill Country Park in the bottom of Whitcomb Valley. You are here. The valley has a fascinating history, and water has always played an important role in the area. The stream existed in this valley for centuries up until the 1960s, when it was diverted underground to improve the area for farming. So this is often used for sheep farming. You also get a lot of foxes, and usually hear the cackle of green woodpeckers wandering on through as well, which is quite cool. So we'll see what we can see. We'll keep heading up. Let's check this stream out. It looks pretty dry at the moment. It's here that you can most fully appreciate the scale of Ham Hill as an Iron Age hill fort. Just behind me here we've got the ramparts. They're really steep and sheer, and when we get up to the top later you'll be able to see what an incredible vantage point this is, with a view over the surrounding landscape. Nobody could approach with an attack without being noticed by someone. Here we go, we've got another billboard. This is another new one, which is exciting for me to explore and share with you. So this one's about wildlife in the Whitcomb Valley. So we've got ravens and buzzards, we've got emperor dragonflies, which no doubt are attracted by the water flowing through the middle. In theory, haven't seen much of that today. We've got meadow ants and green woodpeckers, we've got roe deer, and we've got the yellow flag iris. Now of course there's even more wildlife that inhabits this area that comes and goes throughout the seasons, and of course through night and through day. We don't see all of it, but I strongly encourage you, when you are out in your wilder spaces, just tone down the volume a little bit and just open your eyes, see what you can see, what can you hear. If it's a new bird song, go home, look it up, get an app on your phone. You know, there's an even cooler app that I absolutely love using at dusk, which helps you detect bats, and basically it picks up the echolocation that they use, and you can identify the species of bat from the sound that you get through your phone. It's just so cool. I love that technology is evolving to help us understand our landscapes more and become more in tune with the wildlife. These days it's rare for people to spend that time outside, so to have something that just helps you delve a little bit deeper and learn and build your knowledge and that relationship with the wildlife and with the landscape, it's just truly incredible, and all I can do is encourage you to embrace it.
The mainstay of life in Whitcomb was farming, and there's evidence of occupation since 1566, but then it dwindles. Although many, including myself, thought the village was wiped out by the Black Death, it turns out this is unlikely, and it's more probable that it was enclosure acts that caused people to leave.
So Whitcomb's just over there, Ham Hill's just up there, and what we're going to do now is head to that big old lump in the landscape. That is St Michael's Hill, and on top you can probably only just see it, a speck in this wide angle lens, is St Michael's Tower. So it stands just above Montacute, the village of Montacute, which has the famous Montacute House estate. We're not going to go there today, we are going to climb to the top of that hill though. So the tower itself is obviously built quite recently when compared to the land that it stands on, as already alluded to earlier. That is the site of an old Norman Motte and Bailey castle. But before we explore any more, let's just keep walking and to get a little bit closer. So we are heading up there. We'll just go around to pick up the path, and then we've got a nice steep climb uphill. This is a good heart rate raising climb. Gotta love it. Oh, and here is the top, 139 meters above sea level, and this is St Michael's Tower. All that's left to do is to climb its spiral staircase and get the panoramic views of the surrounding Somerset countryside.
Understandably, the hill would have been used in the pre-Saxon times, and indeed, the Saxons found a stone cross venerated as a sacred Christian relic. In 1066, the Normans took over and built a castle, naming the hill Mons Actus, Steep Hill. The castle wasn't needed for long though, and by 1102 a monastery was founded at the bottom of the hill and the castle cleared and replaced with a chapel dedicated to St Michael, the Archangel, often the saint chosen for hilltop locations, including Glastonbury Tor in Somerset and St Michael's Mount in Cornwall. The tower we see today was built in 1760 by a family who purchased the land in the 1600s after the religious sites were pulled down by the dissolution of the monasteries. This family also built Montacute House, which you can see in the distance. Obviously the view from the tower is unbelievably spectacular.
Alright, so that's St Michael's Tower. Let's head back down and then we'll start to make our way over towards Ham Hill and the famous war memorial that we can see from all of the roads in the surrounding area. It's quite a duck, that. It's always fun heading down here. It's so steep. It's a bit slippy as well. The leaves are just covering all the mud. Just seemed easier to run. Whew. Success. Alright, let's head into the woods. So a lot of the trees and forests around Ham Hill have only really grown back in the last 100 or so years since there's been less sheep farming. So previous to that, the sheep were keeping everywhere and keeping all the grass and shrubs down. So the whole landscape had a different feel about it. But we're about to enter into some of the woods covering the lower slopes of Ham Hill Iron Age hill fort, and then we'll work our way up past the pub on towards the famous Ham Hill War Memorial.
A small section of the Hedgecock Hill Woods is owned by the South Somerset District Council, but the rest is privately owned by an individual who lives in London. Analysis of the flora in the area suggests that in the Victorian times the woodland was used as a pleasure garden, with stands of laurel and monkey puzzle trees planted for aesthetic reasons.
So this last stretch usually gets a little bit muddy, but it also signals the end of the woodland bit of the walk. So we're just going to climb up now towards the pub and have a bit of a chat about that building. And then what I think I'll do is I think I'm going to skirt, no I'm not, I'm going to go through the middle. So Ham Hill, most of the top of it is now kind of covered in lumps of bumps, which are the remains of previous quarries. So there were over 24 quarries on Ham Hill at one point, with over 200 men working the land. Nowadays there's only 2, so we'll have a look at one of those and another one a bit later on. But basically let's just climb up to the top and check out the pub, check out the war memorial. I'm going to go through the middle so we'll be able to see the stone circle as well. There is lots coming our way.
The Prince of Wales pub offers food and drinks year-round, and aim to source as much of their products as locally as possible. There's always a great atmosphere here, and the views from the front are truly incredible.
Okay, so the path split here. That way it kind of goes along the outer ramparts, and this way it goes right through the middle. I don't normally take this route. It's nice enough though. It's good because it's all accessible by wheelchair, and you can push a, what are those things? Buggy pram thing down here as well. So it's a really great sort of family area. People walk their dogs. You can't go wrong, and there's loads of places to explore with kids as well. Or adults if you're like me. Check out that view. Doesn't come much better than that on a local site. We've got the stone circle that uses the ham stone that's quarried here on Ham Hill, that was erected in the year 2000. And then in the background there we've got the war memorial celebrating and remembering the lives of those lost in the First and Second World War. It's really cool here though. You can just see in the centre of the stone circle that kind of darker patch, and that's because in October they have a bonfire in the middle and everyone comes and drinks mulled apple juice that's grown and produced by those at Tinker's Bubble. But when the light's like this, you can really appreciate the colour of this sedimentary ham stone, and it's so distinctive to the area. You know, it's part of Montacute House, it's part of Sherborne Abbey, a famous abbey in the area, and it just really stands out and glistens golden and captures that light, and as always it just fills me with a big old smile. Just behind me then is proof that quarrying still goes on here. You can see all the spoil that's been brought to the surface. There's little pieces of rocks, these bigger pieces sort of marking the boundary that I'm now stood on. And all around me you can just see the lumps and bumps in the landscape, and that's because this whole area has been quarried for the hamstone that lies and makes up Ham Hill. So this area has had quarrying since the Roman time, and obviously it's a lot less now just with the 2 quarries operating, but what with modern machinery you can extract a lot of stone quite quickly with very few men. Now, I don't normally record when there's planes flying over because it's pretty frustrating, but this is intentional because, funny you should ask, why am I filming whilst there's a plane flying over? Well, there's been a lot of planes and helicopters whilst I've been doing this walk, and that's because we're very near to Yeovilton Airfield and Yeovil town itself, so obviously famous for the football group, but there's also Leonardo's, which was formerly known as Westlands, which is pretty much the only place in the UK now where we make helicopters. It's quite cool because my dad works there as well, but so do a lot of people and a lot of people's dads, but that is exactly why there's lots of helicopters flying over. So the military, they work there, they test their Apache helicopters, and we've just been seeing some of them and hearing quite a lot of them flying over this afternoon.
The memorial on top of Ham Hill was designed in 1920 and unveiled in 1923 by the Prince of Wales to commemorate the 4 locals who lost their lives during World War I. Another 2 bronze plaques were later added following World War II, commemorating the 8 who lost their lives and the 1 from Northern Ireland. The memorial is now a Grade 2 listed building and visible from the 3 surrounding counties.
Well, that is pretty much it for today, folks. I'm just gonna make my way back towards the car, so we're gonna head past the ranger's office and also just a few more undulating landscapes that were once quarries. But it's been so wonderful sharing this place with you. This really holds a special place in my heart. I learned to walk here, I learned to run here, I learned to love the natural world here, and I still come and enjoy the beauty that this country park has to offer. I love the fact that it's a Scheduled Nature Monument, that's a SSSI and LNR, and it's just so accessible. It just makes me appreciate these wild spaces that we have and be thankful that we have a system that protects these places and holds them for members of the public like me and you to come and enjoy. So, if nothing else, I hope that this film has inspired you to look up your local wild patch and then maybe just don your walking boots and head out for a little adventure. Let me know how you get on, share in the comments below, share this video, and until next time, folks, enjoy your adventures and stay wild.
The Ham Hill Centre is home to the Ranger's office, toilets, and an information board displaying upcoming events. Do wave to the Rangers if you pass them, as they work tirelessly year-round to help keep Ham Hill accessible and safe for all.